Hello, hello, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me here for this series of free mini animal communications. So this series was really born out of what's happening in the world today with the coronavirus. As things here in the US were starting to go on lockdown, I was house sitting for a friend, maybe 20 minutes up the road. So I was doing some commuting between their house and my house, and really started to wonder like what the animals were thinking about everything that was happening in the world with this situation. And that's really how this series was born. So today we're going to talk with a kitty friend of mine who is very, very special to me. I'll show you a couple different pictures of her. So this is my kitty friend named Zella. And I love this picture of her. It looks like she's smiling. So Zella was one of my animal communication teachers really quite early on. I first started studying animal communication in 2014. And actually it wasn't this cat, but I had a period of time where we had 3 cats die within 2 years. So it was a pretty rough patch for us at our house. But we had one other cat in 2014 start to get ill, and that's what really drew me into animal communication in the first place. And so Zella here, I think she's probably 14 in this picture of her. And in 2016, Zella started to develop some health problems. And it was really working with her that I was able to really develop my animal communication skills. She really guided me through her own death process. It required me to really tune in and listen to what she wanted as she was getting ready to leave her physical body. And it was a very challenging time for me, but I really learned a lot about animal communication during this time. So I'm going to switch up the picture. I like to use this picture when I'm actually communicating with Zella. Oops, let's see if my screen's going to come back here. All right, looks like we are sharing correctly. Looks like I'm getting a message come through here on Facebook. Hi, Bridget. Yeah, I'm seeing I see your message, Bridget. Yeah, definitely send me a little a message on Facebook, and we can definitely talk more about that. That could be a possibility. We could talk to your nephew who doesn't have verbal communication at this time. Yeah, we could definitely talk to him. So if you're joining me live, if you're on Facebook, if you have questions for Zella, you can type them into the chat or into the comments there on Facebook. And if you're joining me on Zoom, there should be a little button on the bottom of your Zoom that says chat. Just click on that and type in your questions for Zella. All right, so I'm just gonna take a moment and get quiet, tuning into Zella. Oh, she just comes forward immediately. She and I have had so many communications in the past. It's just kind of instantaneous when we connect. I haven't connected with Zella for a proper session in quite a while though. So, hi Zella. I feel her just as this kind of radiating being. She's got a very big heart. So it's kind of her way of saying hello to me again. Hi Zella. It's really fantastic to connect with you. I wonder what you might like to share with our viewers today about you or about the situation in the world. What do you feel like is important for people to know? So I get this sense of having to go through things. Yeah, she's showing all these like shake-up kind of situations in the history of the world. And it's like the human race doesn't like going through these things. They think it should be easier. Yeah, I can relate to that, Zella. Do you have any advice for how we might be able to go through these things in a more smooth way, or how can we better deal with this? What's happening? So kind of what she's showing is this having solidity in yourself. Um, I see these images of the ocean, which is part of it. It's almost like the ocean when you're standing solid in yourself. She's showing how the wave just kind of crashes on you and goes on through. But if there's any kind of not feeling solid, like the ocean wave is just going to knock you over and crash you down. I wonder if there's more to that, Zella. Oh, hi, Anne Marie. Thank you. Well, she's also showing how if you stand too rigid and straight, like if there's a lot of real grasping, holding energy, that wave is still going to knock you over. So there's some kind of balance between, yeah. So what Zella is showing is that it's the solidity that she's talking about is not just a down here on earth kind of thing. Like it's not about puffing up your chest and like I'm gonna get you. It has to do with more of like an internal balance and being able to rest on yourself and your own presence. Yeah, because what she's showing is like an energetic solidity. Is she's showing a human as um, like standing as this pillar, this really solid pillar. Like that's the inside, that's the energetic side. Where even then down here in the physical realm, there has to be a sort of like softness and gentleness that comes with that as well. Because otherwise, if the down here holding is this grasping thing, it doesn't really matter how necessarily solid you are energetically. She's saying that you're still going to get knocked over. So Zella, it kind of sounds like what you're saying is you got to find the balance between um, the solidity and the softness. Would that be accurate? She's saying yes, you have to have both. It's not like you can just be all blobby and soft and your energy is all spread out and that's going to be okay. But it's also not okay to be super rigid in your energy. There has to be a kind of knowingness of holding both at the same time. Huh, that's interesting, Zella. I wonder if you could say more about that or how we might be able to do that. She's definitely encouraging some sort of meditation kind of process or something. She says you need something that develops that energetic strength. So yeah, she's recommending like if you have a spiritual practice or a religious group, there can be um, she's really showing it like it's not about resting on the religion or the group, but allowing your own personal kind of identity to emerge and be solid in that and allow that to be part of the group. Like she's kind of giving me my own lesson right now is what I'm feeling. She's showing how like me personally in the past, I have often been looking for a group of people or someone else to rest my energy on. And she's saying how that really hasn't been healthy in my own life. Like I've had to learn how to rest on my own higher wisdom rather than reading in like a religious text or something like you will do this or you will do this, you will do this or you shall not do this. Like there's a certain inner knowing that she really would like people in the world to have instead of always looking to the external for something to rest their energy on. She said, Tracy, I'm very specifically talking to you. Okay, thank you, Zella. Okay, I'm checking to see if we have any questions for Zella. I'm not seeing any pop up. I'll keep my eyes open. But Zella, I'm curious. So you passed away in 2016, and here we are 4 years later. I wonder if you can, I'm really curious, like where you are today. Are you still in the afterlife? Have you come back and been reincarnated again? Or where are you these days, Zella? So I see you're pointing to this kind of star-like presence. It doesn't feel to me like she's in a physical body. It feels more like she's still in this afterlife, kind of watching from a higher perspective. Can you tell me more about, what you're doing or what's happening for you now? Well, she's saying it's not unsimilar to, what you've seen with other animals who have passed. There's this sense of learning for her in the afterlife. She says a lot of animals present it to you, Tracy, as sitting in a classroom, and that's not really my experience of it. But so what is your experience of it, Zella? So I get this feeling, I feel like she's passing this feeling to me. It's sometimes when I've been in a really deep meditation state. She's saying it's very much like that. There's this sense of learning. It's almost like, so she's showing me again, and some other cats that we've talked to recently have also shown this, where there's this central point, if you will, kind of in the middle of her head. And she's showing that as being part of the third eye. And it's almost like there's this glitter or sparkleness that's being kind of dropped or sprinkled on that part of her. Yeah, she's showing how there's this refinement that's happening in her consciousness. And it's a different kind of learning. She says it's not like we're sitting in the classroom and the teacher is wah, 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 like mapping things out. It is a self-learning in many ways, a divine learning. Um, it's almost like I'm just being here and receiving all the things that are here to be received. It's much easier to be really open here, is what Zella is saying. There's this sense of, she shows like around her body, like if she were in a physical body, there's this energy around her body and there are emotions and like moving stuff. And she says, now that I'm in the afterlife, there's a sense of all that kind of falling away, and there's a different level of purity that really comes in. It makes it much easier to learn. And she's showing again the sprinkling of the glitter or the dust on this area, that feels like the central point of her third eye. It's much easier to receive when all that other emotional garbage, she says, is kind of out of the way. So Zella, is there we've got a question pop up here. Hey, this is actually the question I was just going to ask you. Zella, do you have plans to come back and be reincarnated? Like, do you know what you're going to be doing? She says that's not 100% clear now, that she's been going through a deeper refinement process this time between lives. So it sounds like you're just not sure what's in store for you for your next life. You're just kind of enjoying being in the afterlife right now? So she's tapping me in. She is showing like there is this higher plan for her, and it's held higher. Like what she's showing me is it's almost this pact knowing that is being held much, much higher than her awareness at the moment. And she's waiting for it to kind of unpack and become more clear. Yeah, she's showing it just very much like in this packed kind of form. Yeah, and it's like she's saying it's not quite readable yet or unpackable as to what she's doing now or what we'll be doing next. I was just kind of trying to tune in, Zella, and see if you maybe, if part of the stuff that is unpacked or that is still packed up might be that you would come back to me again. But I don't get that sense. She's like, yeah, I don't get that sense either that at least not the next time I come in, that you would be my human. Yeah, Zella, I always felt like our time together on Earth was perhaps the only time that we might be together in at least my incarnation this time. Yeah, Zella's saying that my connection to her is really much higher than what it was on the physical level, that our spirits will always be linked in this way just because of the animal communication work that we've done together. And she's like, I'll always be here for you, and I will always offer my services as an animal communication teacher to you. Zella is, when I've taught animal communication workshops, she's one of the animals that regularly volunteers to help participants, and she comes through very much and likes to work with them, and she's saying I'll always keep doing that for you. She feels like it's almost like she put a marker on my timeline, like our time together was very important, and yeah, there's this way of anchoring her energy into kind of what I'm doing here with animal communication and the way that that comes forward. Thank you so much. That warms my heart. Let's see, so we got another question for you here. Zella, are you in a location particular to our star system, or was the image that you were giving of the star just a symbol? Yeah, she's saying it's more a symbol, like she's not feeling herself in any particular physical location. It's like she feels her higher self as a star that radiates out this energy. And she's saying it might be kind of particular to Tracy because it's an easy way for her to interpret that. So yeah, she doesn't feel herself as being part of a particular star system or anything. Which kind of brings up another question, Zella. Like, I know there's some other kitties that I house sit for that they do feel very specifically like they come from a specific set of stars. And I wonder, is that something you're familiar with, Zella, or something you might be able to tell us about? So she's showing me these levels. So it's almost like level here, level, 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 level. And she says it's not necessarily a hierarchy, like being of a higher level doesn't mean you're smarter or more enlightened or anything like that. Um, what do the different levels mean then? She says it has to do more with resonance. Like she's showing these kitties, these other kitties that I house sit for, like their humans have, I'm sorry, their human has a much higher resonance with this particular star system that those kitties are from. And that's part of the reason, like it is about the resonating or vibrating kind of at the same level kind of thing. So it doesn't mean they're better or higher up or more enlightened. It just means this is the level that they resonate with, and they're more likely to come in and attract or find a human who has some kind of resonance on that same level. All right, we got little Carrie in here making some doggy noises in case that's coming through on the recording. All right, Zella. Hi, Carrie. Thank you, Zella, for sharing all that with me. I wonder if there's, I'm just checking for any last questions. We're kind of coming to the end of our time here. Just wondering if there are any last questions for Zella. I'm keeping my eyes open for those. Hi, Zella. Hi, Carrie. Zella, are there any last things that you really want to share with our viewers here today? Don't give up hope, she says. Showing how hope is actually this really high level vibration, and she's showing it coming from the heart. And it's almost like this funnel that, is that the right word? Funnel. It's almost like a megaphone, actually, that's kind of coming out of the heart and having that hope and letting it spread. She's saying hope is one of the highest level emotions in her perspective that people can have. All right, we've got another, we'll make this our final question for today. So Zella, Margaret would like to know, how do animals pick their humans? She's saying there's a variety of things that are associated with that. And she said, first of all, it does really have to do with this pact knowing that each individual animal has and what they can bring and what their mission is. And they're really looking again for that resonance level that she's saying, like with you and me, we resonated on the same kind of frequency, and my mission was very much in line with the things that you needed to learn. Yeah, she's even showing like, so, you know, she's talking about that pact knowing for herself, but she's saying each individual human also has this kind of pact knowing or pact set of lessons that they are meant to learn during this lifetime. And so she's almost showing like from the spiritual world, kind of scanning the earth and looking for a pact knowing, these pact information packets or nodes. So there's this sense of like her looking down from the afterlife and kind of scanning for a node that she has resonance with. Yeah, she says it is kind of a very precise sort of thing that she's been going through. And she says it's harder when she's in the state that she is right now, where her own pact knowing is so packed up and unknown that she doesn't know what is going to resonate with down here. So it sounds like maybe people need to, or the animals need to have a little bit of their own knowing unpacked a little bit so they can understand where they're going. Yes, and she's showing also like, so with the humans, like when the animals are looking down, tuning into this packed knowing of the humans, there almost has to be sort of this blossoming something that is in resonance with what the animal wants to learn or what their mission is. Like there has to be sort of a blossoming that happens in the human that shows that they're ready to receive the animal. Wow, it sounds like a lot of energetic knowing on the animal part, Zella. Yes, we're very smart. We know how to unpack all of that stuff. We know how to understand things in much more packed form than humans do. And we know when to unpack it and when to leave it packed up. So it sounds like the animals really pick the humans rather than it being the other way around. Oh, well, you know, there is this sort of way, and she says, I'm using the word trick, but we're not really tricking, but it's like letting the humans believe that they were the ones who picked. Sometimes makes the humans feel better, so we let them have that sometimes. But she's saying generally, yes, that it's the animals who are seeking out the humans. But there has to be a resonance, she says. Wow. Thank you, Zella, so much for sharing that. All right. So I know we went a little bit over our time today, but I'm so excited to talk to my little kitty friend Zella again. It's been a while since I've talked with her. So thanks so much for joining us here today. It's been really a great joy to do these little animal communication sessions, and I'm planning to keep doing them through the end of April, and I don't know, we might do something different coming up starting in May. We'll see what shakes out. But again, thanks for joining me, and until next time, take care and be well.